guys want to come up? Come on up and join me.
Does Lucas?
Come on. Stand behind me. How's that? We don't want to make him any more nervous than he already is, right? All right, wonderful. All right, with your family behind you, this is a big day. We're certainly pleased to welcome you officially to the force, and I know you've worked hard to get to this point, so we're going to do the oath of office, law enforcement code of ethics. So I'll have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. As a law enforcement officer, oh wait, excuse me, my bad. I'm going down to the oath of office. We would have been here all day if we would have read this thing. I, Lucas P. Vanderhart,
I, Lucas P. Vanderhart,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and comply
that I will support and comply
with the Constitution of the United States of America,
with the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana,
the charter, laws, and ordinances
the charter, laws, and ordinances
of the city of Warsaw, Indiana,
of the city of Warsaw, Indiana,
the rules, regulations, and policies
the rules, regulations, and policies
of the Warsaw Police Department,
of the Warsaw Police Department,
and the law enforcement code of ethics,
and the law enforcement code of ethics,
and the canons of police ethics,
and the canons of police ethics,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
as a police officer
as a police
to
officer
the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick.
For those in the room, Lucas is a Grace graduate. He happened to work for us part-time while at Grace is towards, I think it was your last semester, for parking enforcement. And we knew we had a possible candidate, so we were excited that he came back to us. He actually left, took a law enforcement job in Tennessee, and then came back and reapplied with us and been here for a year. So congratulations.
Great. And again, I appreciate family coming this morning. This is indeed an honor, and I know, Lucas, you'll do well. So let's go over and get some pictures, and then we'll get on with business. Or did you all get the pictures you needed?
I was thinking if you would board
Okay.
at the same time.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll have to sign this. Lucas, can you come here for just a second?
Yes, sir.
We need to sign this.
We'll take a quick picture of just the mayor and I.
All right.
Should think that,
There.
Let's go underneath.
yeah, so it doesn't. Yeah,
Thank you.
can't pick
Got
up.
me one of these.
Yes.
I think we're going to probably
Now, who's it?
And I'll give you a original.
Don't you look at it?
All right. All right, the family want to come in?
Come on in.
Slide out.
Don't be shy. All right.
There's nobody wanting to stand next to the mayor.
This is the most important one this morning. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. And thank you all for coming this morning. I certainly appreciate your support. All right. Well, thank you. That's always a privilege and an honor to swear in a young man or young woman who are willing to serve our community it's not an easy job, and it's, again, always appreciated that they've committed to that. So it was very nice. All right. With no unfinished business, let's dive into new business. We've got a series of, looks like the first 6 items, and we'll consider those collectively. This is a grant from our workman's compensation carrier, IPEP. They've partnered with the city to provide a grant, an 80-20 grant, basically to promote safety in the workplace. And I know there's a few other bullet points there, but that's, to me, the most important part. The grant total is $28,817.40, and the city's share will be $7,204.30, for a grand total of $36,021.50. So again, $28,000 from the grant, $7,000 from the city, and $36,000 is the total. Each of these departments are going to use their portion of the grant. Public Works, wastewater, fire, and human resources. We're going to sponsor a safety conference through HR. Fire is getting a rescue cart, and you know what, Jennifer, I'm going to have you explain those in a little more detail.
No, you're actually doing really well. So.
Okay. There's a training
No,
prop
right, so we-
and a rescue cart from the fire department.
Correct.
Fire territory. Wastewater is getting some lighting and a
Yeah.
tripod for, Brian, what's the tripod
Where
for?
your confined space,
Entry where we go down in the pump station.
Gotcha.
right.
And then Public Works is getting some
PPE.
work boots.
Yes.
I assume slip resistant and steel toe and all that.
Yes, anything that is actually job specific to their job titles down there. Not everybody will receive the same boot, but whatever
Great.
is going to work for them.
So this is certainly appreciated. Obviously, we're being asked to accept these grants. Or we've already done that. This is just a matter of
This is just a matter of just accepting the grant. and
Accepting
letting us
the grant.
proceed and get the
Yep.
money. Start
Okay.
spending.
So, any
No,
more to
we've
say?
got-
Any more to add?
No, our safety committee actually worked very hard collectively. Each department had an opportunity to put money in. We were not limited on the amount. These departments decided to go ahead and move forward. Doesn't mean next year we have the same opportunity. Other departments may climb in as well. But the safety training that you were talking about, we do hope to send 10 individuals down to the city to do the Indiana Safety and Health Conference, which is really educational, very informative.
All right, so we're asking for the acceptance of this.
Yeah, anytime the safety can be covered with only 20% of our monies, that's pretty good. So I'll make a motion, we accept the grant for all the departments.
Thank you.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. You know that,
Thank you.
when we met with our insurance carrier, and workman's compensation is always a concern. Safety in the workplace is always a concern. And anything that we can do, and it's gratifying to see that our vendors actually very interested in that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And this is probably a good investment for them, as hopefully it'll help us, help everybody keep our rates down and limit workplace accidents. So this is a very good thing. So that was for all items 1 through 6.
Yes.
Okay. All right, now item 7, new hire and wage
Change
and
of
salary
payroll.
report.
Correct. So on your new hire report, you will see the police department has finished with their hiring process with the hiring of 2 replacement officers. And they're going to start next week. Pension has already been approved. They've already been cleared through their physicals and psych test and such. So we'd like permission to put those 2 new hires on, and then the space below that would be for current what's going on. And Jacob Johnson is actually going to be transitioning from the street department over as a probationary firefighter. And Andy LeCount went and got his Class A CDL, which is a huge thing.
All right. So is there a motion to approve the new hire change in payroll report?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
All right, and as part of our annual approvals of take-home vehicles,
Right.
those have been presented. airport manager, cemetery sexton, mayor, superintendent of the parks, maintenance director of the parks, street superintendent, supervisor from the street department, fleet garage supervisor from the street department, traffic signal technician from the street department, utility manager and assistant utility manager, maintenance supervisor from the wastewater utility. So that would be it. That documentation is all enclosed as you've had a chance to look at.
Is that the same number as last year?
We actually are one less.
One
down,
less.
correct. We have the new assistant superintendent at the Public Works Department that will not have a take-home vehicle as he lives out of the county. So he would not be eligible for our program.
All right,
I'll move to approve the take-home requests.
all right. I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then Jennifer, you presented some travel requests.
Correct, yep. We have 5 of them.
So the mayor is going to the mayor's school. Angie from the police department's doing a training conference. Sheila from the parks, IPRA annual conference. Drew Schilling from fire is going to a leadership conference, and Lynn Christensen's going to boot camp. Let's just leave it at that.
It's a state called meeting for our clerk treasurers too on the first day, so.
And newly elected officers
Yep.
training. All right, questions?
No, I'll move to approve the travel requests.
Okay, I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Jennifer. Right on cue, chief. You're up. That's vehicle lease agreement with Rice Ford.
Yeah, this is just a request to move forward with a lease, and my intentions would be to bring the actual lease to the next Board of Works meeting, and we'll just do the transaction, which will be the 20th, and we'll just have everything dated the 20th, and the transaction will occur on the 20th, and we'll have a check on the 20th for the first installment.
All right. This is the non-duty vehicle, I think you said.
Yeah, alternate duty vehicle.
Alternate duty,
Yes.
okay. All right,
I'll move to approve the lease agreement.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Those opposed? All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Brian, got our litany of approvals, disbursements, bills, paying bills. So we'll start with item 11, which is lane inliner, small diameter.
Yeah,
Have a
this
change order here.
This was a change order for unforeseen spot repairs, so these were, I can't remember exactly the Fort Wayne and Wood Street one. I know the second one was for an alley. It was scheduled to be lined. We got in there and the pipe changed about 3 different materials, and then some of it was the old cast iron pipe, and it had, they'll start closing off, and we couldn't get it open back up to line it. So we had to replace that segment before we could line it.
All right,
Wood Street would have been, that might have been the one where it went from an 8 to a 6-inch pipe and then back to, it might have even gone to like a 12. We ran into some stuff where they've done repairs over the years and pipe size changed, and
so you're cleaning up a lot. Yeah.
but these were unforeseen spot repairs.
Questions?
I'll move to approve the change order.
Second, all in favor say aye. Those opposed? All right, item 12, this is the plant expansion project with Westler engineering for that. Brian?
Yes, this is for the RPR work. Yeah, for the Westler Engineering.
All right, questions?
No, thank you that the yes and no weren't checked on that one line. This,
We got it straightened out.
I got her straightened out. I'll move to approve.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, item 13, this is the, again, plant expansion. This is with Westler as well. This is more engineering.
Yes, same. We just had a couple different bills from them for this pay period.
Okay,
I'll I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. And then construction disbursement, again, these all, the last three, including this one, have been SRF. Actually, yeah, the last three have been SRF
For the plant.
funded for the plant. So this,
This is for actual construction
Construction,
work that's
right.
occurred.
with Kokosing, ooh, that's a big one.
Yes.
That's what I like about Kokosing, they all are big. You get that.
2.1
Yeah.
million.
That's a
All
lot
right.
of money. They're doing a lot of work.
All right. Any questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Nearing
Those-
the halfway point on that one, both with money and time.
I was just gonna ask you for a little update, so halfway.
Yep, and they've been pouring a bunch of concrete lately. There's some big tanks out there that are empty right now.
We're still looking at sometime, middle,
I believe October is the
Fall.
substantial and December is the final of 20, so.
so we're, let's just hopefully say less than a year away. When will that kind of go online? Can it partially go online, or do
Yeah,
they have to
they'll-
wait?
It'll phase in as they get different parts ready. We'll bring it online so they can do work to equipment that's currently running. We'll have to take it offline, so it'll kind of be phased in as it is ready to be put online.
Okay. All right. Very good. Did we vote on that? No, I don't think we voted on
No, I
that.
don't think so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Now, item 15, this would be also an SRF project, but this is the small diameter rehab.
Right, some of this is that change order you just approved, and then it's more payment for work that they have completed.
Okay. Questions?
I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? How are we doing with the, this rehab project as far as, again, timelines? and Should be getting close.
Right, the replacement's been completed for a while. The large diameter, maybe the next Board of Works will do a final payment for the large diameter. The small diameter number 2, I believe, is also maybe completed by the next Board of Works. And there's gonna be a couple projects from the small diameter number 1 carry over into the next year. And then there's the potential, we have some funds still remaining from that SRF loan that we may put out another lining package next year and match some of those fundings, hopefully with the budget guidelines that we're approving for. So we'll continue this lining every year, not on this grand scale that we did this year with our own dollars to try and keep us from getting back into the situation we were in. So.
Right, well, again, I know initially we put out $10 million to try and play a little bit of catch-up, knowing that we would also continually try to maintain a certain amount every year. So I assume that we'll be seeing these bills for some time, but this is still the original $10 million SRF
Correct.
grant loan. Okay. All right. So item 16 would be back to the sewer, well, this is still sewer rehab, just another one.
Yes, this is for the engineering from Wessler for the oversight of the project and answering questions. And
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Item 17, small diameter, again, SRF. This would be the construction or the actual lining of the small diameter pipes.
yes, this is just paying for the work completed through the end of this year. Like I said, this project's being stopped until spring at this point. Just most of the work they have left to do is under asphalt, and the asphalt plant's, my understanding, shut down maybe at the end of this week or next week, so they've just pushed this work until spring,
Okay.
or the rest of it.
I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Excuse me. Item 18 is the 2020 budget guideline for the utility. Again, the utility has a separate budget from the city budget, and this is being prepared by Brian and his team for 2020.
Yeah, not, the payroll information, it went up a little bit. We were a little off on this year's budget, so that's why you saw a little bit more than the 3% adjustment there. But none of our employees are getting more than the 3% that was approved. You see in the capital expenses, there's a little different allocation of funds. We are looking at replacing our old camera truck next year, and that's a $400,000 truck, so that's why you see a little more money in that one. And then we are investing $400,000 of our money into continuing the infrastructure repair of the collection system.
Do we have 2 camera trucks?
Yes.
And the old one, it hasn't been that long ago we bought the newer one. I
It
mean,
was 4 or 5 years
Right,
ago.
right.
And then the old one is about 10, I think it's 10 years old. So they're starting to, and we built that one in-house. We bought the camera system separate, we bought the truck separate, and then we put it all together in-house one winter. And they're starting not to support the old camera, the parts for it, and so we're looking to upgrade that one. We're also looking into adding what they call a lateral launch feature. So as we're going down the main line, we come to a lateral, somebody's having problems, while they're not necessarily the city's responsibilities, we can aid that customer in helping to determine what their problem is and where it needs to be fixed, ultimately saving them some money on getting the repair completed. Maybe they don't have to dig up the road, maybe they don't have to, so we're looking at adding that feature to this newer camera.
so I'm going to assume that the camera system is an integral part of the truck, and to retrofit the truck with a new camera is not possible?
Right, it's possible. Our truck's even older than 10 years old. We bought a used truck when we bought it, and the majority of that cost is the camera
Is the camera,
system.
okay.
I mean, all we're buying is a cabin chassis and a box truck. You know, you're 40, 50, I don't know for sure, but so the majority of that 400,000 is the camera system, and
Yeah.
so we want to put it in something reliable. And
Well, I know how critical having underground eyes is, and I know you guys use the heck out of that thing, both of them. So I know we'll deal with that when that comes up, but I appreciate you pointing that out in the budget.
And then you see an increase in the bond and coupon payments. Most of that's due to the plant SRF loan that we closed on at the end of the last year.
All right. Any questions, George?
I don't think so. It's pretty detailed. I will move to approve the budget guidelines for wastewater.
And I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Brian, I appreciate all your hard work on this. I know you all have a lot of responsibility with $40 million worth of improvements the last couple of years, and expansions and the new expansion out in the airport industrial park. So appreciate all the work you do, and it's obviously important to be guided by an accurate and sustainable budget. So thank you for your work on that.
Thank you.
All right, next item would be the stormwater budget. Probably not quite as involved as,
Not quite as involved. We are going to focus a little bit more on projects next year. How it just worked out, we did quite a bit of engineering this year looking at future projects, and so next year we're going to gear up to accomplish some of those projects we looked into this year. Some of the bigger ones for next year are going to be, we're going to start working at that Kelly Park area. Our ultimate goal is to restore that pond to a fishing pond for the community, like it used to be years and years ago. Working on getting the drainage improved in that area still. We're looking at some water quality improvements, tying in with Winona Lake on that roundabout project they're working on down that was at Argonne and
Winona.
working. We've got a major 36-inch storm line that drains a lot of the community into Winona Lake. We're working on some water quality improvements, trying to remove some of the sediments and contaminants that come down that line before it reaches the lake. That project won't happen next year because I believe that's a 21 project for Winona Lake, but that's another thing we're looking at.
Be ready for it, yeah. All right, is there a motion to approve?
I will move to approve the stormwater budget guidelines.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Well, and I will just add, Ryan had presented stormwater utility at a previous council meeting, a report on projects, revenue for such, and the long list of stormwater projects we have in the community. And looking at this budget, I'm sure, we're limited by this budget with the projects that we can do. Our stormwater fee is very low, and we'll probably be taking a look at that. I think we mentioned that at that previous council meeting, that we'll be looking at what we may need to do to get some of these projects funded, because in the area we live with the water tables and the lakes and the runoff and the way all that plays out, it's really important that we address those things. So more to come on that as well. But thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy, it's your turn to pay some bills. So we'll start with the Airport Industrial Park. It's got a, let's see here, hang on.
It's just a change order, change
Yes.
order number 3. We're not necessarily adding any more work or any issues. Most of this is adding additional asphalt surface to areas that were in between where the pipe starts and ends. Rather than paving half the road, we wanted to complete those segments so that we didn't have a half-paved road and then an older portion of road and then another section of paved. So we're just filling in those gaps with new HMA overlay, which is basically surface overlay. That's the bulk of it. There was a change in one lateral relocation that accounts for 9,800, a little over 9,800 of the change order. But change order in total is 76,684, and it'll be paid out of the bond proceeds in the northern TIF. This project was a little over $6 million. And I think with this change order, we're right around 6.2 million. Most of the additional costs that we have added has been some additional work in terms of asphalt and then quality of asphalt. So the pipe itself has been going pretty well. We haven't ran into a whole lot of issues with laying the pipe itself.
So the road portion of this is obviously really a separate project, but these are primarily repairs as you're going in and finding the lesser quality of asphalt that's on those roads that we inherited, if you will.
Yeah, change order 2 was addressing a large portion of Bell Drive that had very little structural integrity left. And this change order is reflecting, replacing some of the asphalt that wasn't torn out as part of the pipe replacement, but putting some HMA, some new surface over those segments so that we didn't have a half-patch road, half-patch road. This just makes it look a little bit better, and obviously there are some surface issues out there. This will help.
Buys a little time.
Buys a little time.
Yeah, okay. All right,
I'll move to approve the change order.
second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, those opposed? All right, and you've got a pay app on North Point?
Yeah, there's actually 2 pay apps. The first pay app 2 is for $160,000. This project's being paid out of 3 different accounts. We had a 50% NDOT grant match. We had Street Department had put in $150,000, and then the Eastern TIF District had put in $244,000 for this project. So this portion, pay up 2, is most being paid out of the grant account in the Street Department, whereas the following pay up is being paid out of the Street Department and then some Eastern TIF funds as well.
Okay, so we'll consider this one separately, app 2. Any questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, and then the same thing, pay up 3. I assume it's the exact same project, just different.
Same project, it was timeframe wise, this project was a little shorter timeframe, so we still have some pay apps that'll be coming, but for the most part, the project's been completed. It included, a large portion of it was adding sidewalks connecting the YMCA and Parkview Hospital back to Husky Trail. And
I know the addition of those sidewalks out there is going to be a safety improvement for the schools.
I'll move to approve the pay application.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, over to the Lincoln School sidewalk project. And this looks like it's engineering.
Yeah, so I've submitted for your approval, pay application number 7. This is for the Lincoln Lincoln Neighborhood Sidewalk Project. And again, you know, this is a safety improvement for the school system, but we're currently in the engineering phase of this. We're hoping to get to the construction phase in 2021, 2022. So this pay application is for $14,942.
All right.
I'll move to approve.
Second, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Jeremy, Market Street, NDOT PO.
Yes, Market Street is pretty much complete. We're doing the final walkthrough with NDOT this afternoon, but the work has been complete, and we'll walk through, and if there's any small changes or repairs that need to be made, we'll do that with NDOT and the contractor. As part of this, I don't have the final, but I believe this will probably be the final pay app from NDOT. This isn't from the contractor. If you remember correctly, we send our money to NDOT. NDOT pays the contractor. Any cost overruns would be solely on us. We had a change order, a couple of change orders throughout this project. This is paying for those change orders that were approved by the Board of Works. Those change orders included some storm improvements, addition of a Tesco panel, which is the panel that we've used for all of our projects, so that we have the same panel. As part of NDOT projects, you can't necessarily spec proprietary materials, but you can change order those materials into the project. So we wanted to specifically go with the Tesco panel. And then there were some additional manholes and inlets as part of those change orders to address some stormwater issues throughout the project. That total amounted to a little over $65,000 that we still owe NDOT as part of our portion of the project.
All right.
So this is a purchase order, rather.
Yeah, so this goes into the total pot of money that NDOT pays the contractor with.
I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Jeremy, for just a second, while you're talking about those Tesco panels, I've had several calls about the lights downtown as they relate to the Buffalo Street intersection improvements, and I know they're still trying to make some electrical connections. I think NDOT's involved. Can you NIPSCO, can you explain why some of the lights aren't operational yet, just for the public?
I would assume, and Jeff can correct me if I'm wrong, that NIPSCO has to power up that Tesco panel, which means they have to drop power into the meters themselves to turn that power on, and that's what we're waiting for them to make those connections. I believe the Tesco panel's set, the meters are set. We're just waiting for NIPSCO to power them up.
So similar to our Market Street experience, waiting for NIPSCO to finally flip the switch.
Yeah, I mean, the contractor has to come in, set everything, put all the wire in the grounds, and then we contact NIPSCO, and there's a process to go through NIPSCO. But like us, they have a lot of orders out there. We get put in the queue for an order, and then we're waiting on them to power up those panels.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate it. I've gotten a lot of calls on that, and I know it's Christmas time. There's a lot of lights, and then there's this little dead zone here. So hopefully NIPSCO will read everyone's articles today and understand that it's time to flip the switch. All right, thank you. All right, I'm up with, these are actually contracts from the council budget that we approve every year. And we'll just go through these one at a time. The first is our special events coordinator, Paula same as last year, $8,000. She manages all the city infrastructure requests for First Fridays and a lot of the other events. Her contract is for $8,000 for 2020, and again, no increase from last year.
I'll move to approve.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's the first time I said 2020.
Yeah.
It's almost
You don't say
here.
that every day
It's
in
almost
your other
here.
job?
Well, I do, but in the context of the year 2020. Thanks, Lynn.
You're welcome. You're the optometrist next year.
I just don't know what to say, Lynn, thank you. All right, we'll go to the agreement with the farmer's market. This pretty much just kind of terms and conditions of their use of our infrastructure to run their farmer's market for 6 months. There's no real dollar amount to this. We agree to close it up and provide the restrooms and the barricades and trash cans and picnic tables and all, and they agree to show up. We've had some good growth in the farmer's market this past year, and I got a very excited group, got some new vendors, and continuing to grow that. So
I'll move we approve the agreement.
and I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. This next item, 27, is a agreement with KEDCO. This is again, our 2020 agreement with KEDCO. It is up from $55,000 to $80,000. And the agreement is listed here. Again, these are the economic development services that KEDCO provides for the city. They help out in the tech park and every facet of community and economic development in the city is spearheaded with Alan's organization, and they've become really critical and important partners to what we're trying to maintain and grow in the community. So,
Amen to that. I will approve, I will motion that we approve the agreement with KEDCO.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Those opposed? The next one is our agreement with Rock Hill Pinnock for legal services. This is year 2 with our new city attorney, and we agreed last year to keep the rate the same. We found pretty quickly that the rate was, our previous city attorney had been on for many, many years and never sought an increase in his rate. And Rock Hill Pinnock agreed to work for that rate for the first year, and I told them we would reevaluate where we're at, how many hours, again, not knowing how many hours would be spent. So what we've done this year, we've left the hours the same, but we've increased the rate from $180 to $180 an hour to $220 an hour, which is the pretty much prevailing legal fee in the community. And that would be based on, I think, 30 hours a month. So the contract is for $79,000, $6,600 a month. So, questions on that?
No, I'll move to approve the agreement.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and then we'll go into the non-for-profit agreements. These have all been appropriated by the council. These are just the annual contracts for those services. We don't make donations to these groups. We contract for services per state statute, and we'll go down through these. We'll go through them and then we'll consider them all. Animal Welfare Leagues, $27,000. And again, all this discussion and these amounts were set by the council. Excuse me. CCAC, $20,000. Housing Opportunities of Warsaw, $26,000. CABS, Capital Improvement, I believe this is a match on a new vehicle, $11,240. CABS, the 2020 agreement was for $19,055. Senior Services, $20,000. Lakes and Streams, $20,000. Beaman Home, $5,750. Excuse me. WCDC, $22,725. Warsaw Little League, $5,000. WCDC, this is for the facade program, the downtown facade grants, $25,000. And the Warsaw Housing Authority, $30,000. I'll just make a note that I think the council did a very good job this year of going back and trying to structure how these requests would be received, what criteria we would use to make the decisions to fund these. And I think we've got a little bit more substance to our process. And again, thank you to council for the work they've done on that. So again, those amounts have been appropriated by the council. We're just asking that you approve these contracts.
I'll move we approve all of the not-for-profit agreements.
All right. Is there a second? That would be me. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Lynn, I believe you have one special claim here
I do have one special claim.
Big?
There was a,
from Amazon. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
it was a, oversight on an invoice that was presented, so he, had to have a
$50.
readjustment. Yep.
All right,
$50. I'll move to approve.
all right. Is there a second? That'd be me again. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and then we'll move to the regular claims docket. I did have a chance to go through it, didn't see anything. George?
I did not see anything of question, so I will make a motion that we approve the claims docket.
All right, I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Any other items to be carried forward? All right. Questions or comments from our visitors? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thank you all.